Bud Hopkins has devoted his entire adult life to working with the trauma of UFO abductees and investigating their stories.
I've worked with over 500 people in the past 20 years, and of that 500, most of those people I've looked into multiple abductions. There are many physical marks that turn up after an abduction experience. A person can describe a physical process taking place on something being done to their thigh, and you check the place and there's a scoop mark or a long straight cut.
Dr. David Jacobs is a professor at Temple University and an author of several books on UFO abductions. He believes that the physical evidence is very real.
This includes actual scars, that is to say, scar tissue has formed, which of course is physiologically not possible in just a few hour period, but that is what we do see. I would say probably the majority of abductees have some sort of an implant in them. They describe an instrument that's placed high up their nose. They can hear a kind of crunching sound, feel a crunching sound as this instrument goes up through the cartilage, and it deposits a little sort of ball-like thing way up by their optic nerve or their pituitary glands. This happens in their ears as well.
And I could feel my ear being pulled as far from the skull as it could, and an instrument being intruded into my ear.
People wake up in the morning, there's blood all over the pillow from their nose or from their ear.
A little girl woke up, 9-year-old, whose whole family are having these experiences. She was visiting a friend. She woke up in the morning with a memory of a strange face looking at her, and there was a huge long gash down her cheek and around underneath. The emergency room people took 18 stitches in it. The doctor said it was a scalpel cut, and it was of uniform depth, and it was extremely deep. And she has no memory of it. She didn't wake up from it. This is something that happened during the night, together with other memories. There is physical evidence all over the place.
Not only that, but people are physically missing from their normal environment. That is to say, they're not there. When they're in an abduction event, their parents are looking for them if they're kids, or their husband or wife is, doesn't know where they are. They're actually missing.
Dr. Karla Turner works with dozens of people who claim to have been abducted by UFOs. She believes that some abductees never fully recover from the shock and terror of what happened to them.
I had no intention of becoming a UFO researcher, but the issue was forced on me by the beings who invaded my life and my home and my family, everything. There can be no doubt that something real and deeply traumatic has happened to these people. Their whole concept of reality has been shattered by bizarre and inexplicable events. There is no doubt that the aliens are profoundly interested in human reproduction. The missing fetus aspect of the UFO abduction phenomena is far more widespread than people would like to believe. Kathy Davis's multiple encounters are not that rare either, and apparently this has happened to me too. When we finally got up enough information, we felt comfortable to talk with other family members, and it was several hours long of talking about the whole phenomenon. My former husband glanced over at his wife and he said, "I guess maybe that's what happened when you lost the baby." And I said, "I never lost a baby." And he said, "No, you've got to remember this, that in 1970, while I was on birth control pills, that I had become pregnant, and that a couple of months later I had had a very painful miscarriage. I was in a lot of pain. I was hysterical. I wouldn't let him take me to the doctor. And even after he told me this, I have no conscious memory of this occurring."
The problem with the abduction phenomenon is that it begins in infancy and goes through old age, and it does not stop from what we can tell. So everybody who's had abduction experiences oftentimes can look forward to having them again, and that's one of the really unfortunate aspects of this.
It seems to me the range of people who are involved in these experiences is total. It's the entire cross-section of the community.
Farmers, working people, military people, housewives, children. And this is a real zinger that a lot of people don't know about. It involves university professors, and it involves prominent politicians.
We see it as being primarily clinical. That is to say, there is a certain agenda that they are fulfilling that uses human beings. Exactly what the endpoint of that agenda is, we're not sure. But the fact is that we don't see them as coming here to help us, to cure cancer, to stop war, or anything like that.
We are a great resource And it's a one-way proposition as far as I can tell. They take and give nothing back.
However, this is a reproductively oriented phenomenon, and the end point from what we can see is the production of sort of small kind of babies that most people say don't look alien and they don't look human. They sort of look like a cross between the two. Most abductees will call them hybrids. We feel that the production of these offspring of the hybrids is one of the major purposes of the abduction phenomenon, but we don't know exactly why yet.